You are watching William Patterson University Television.
Hello and welcome back to the desk. It's official. The Washington Nationals are your 2019 World Series champions. We have Stephen, Mark, Joe, and Jimmy here to break down the series along with some awards for the season. Stephen, right to you first. What did you think about the World Series?
Wow, what an upset. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from the World Series. It was a World Series for the ages. It went all 7 games, which is best for any series. Nationals took it. The hits, the Astros offense came alive in really games 3 through 6. The runs, the Nationals scored more. The Astros left 60 runners on base. That's one of the most in all time in a World Series. And the pitching ERA, right down the middle, 4.29 for each. And that was kind of expected because both pitching staffs were incredible. Obviously, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg compared to Verlander and Gerrit Cole. I have to give props to the Nationals. I mean, a team that really wasn't expected to even make the playoffs, to come and win games 6 and 7, well, really game 1 and 2 and 6 and 7 in the Astros house. I mean, this team, I have to give them props. Much respect.
Mark?
Yeah, I mean, they were 19-31. I mean, everybody wanted Davey Martinez's head on a silver platter. These guys came out of nowhere. You kind of think, is it the fact that Bryce Harper's not there, or is it, just the team had a lot more chemistry? You saw them in the dugout whenever they hit home runs. These guys are dancing and just having a good time. That's honestly the real reason why they won. I mean, you can tell the chemistry was there. So
Joe, you were the only one on the block 2 weeks ago to pick the Nationals. How do you feel right now?
I'm feeling really good. And I have to honestly thank Steven Strasburg for that. I mean, the performance that Strasburg was able to put up, as we look at what he did in the World Series, he was 2-0, 2.5 ERA, only 4 runs allowed, and the 14 punch-outs. What Strasburg did, I think it really proved the Nationals front office right. Yeah. They saved his arm. They limited his innings for years and years and years. He had the Tommy John surgery. If you remember, that was like a big controversy. They let him sit out for the playoffs a few years ago. And now it all panned out. He's their World Series MVP. He's their guy. The Nationals, the oldest team in baseball, they won with starting pitching and veteran leadership. That's what a lot of teams are kind of moving away from. Nationals proved that you could still win like that.
Jimmy?
Yeah, well, this is going to be a series that we talk about for a long time. 7 games, and the road team won every single game. That's insane. I thought after the first 2 games when Washington took care of Houston at Houston, I thought the series would be over by Game 5. But instead, the Astros battled back, and for the road team to win every single game, it's unbelievable. It's not easy. And the Nationals, in those games they won, just dominated. Yeah. Okay, you see guys like step up and get those big hits, and they were able to perform to their expectations, okay? These guys were the biggest underdogs in the World Series since the 2007 Rockies, and they got smoked by the Red Sox. So the Nats, what a story, what a team.
They might not be back here for a while either.
No.
So that's a big free agent.
It's going to be a tough offseason for them.
So we've watched every game that's happened this season. I think it's time out to dole out some awards. Steve, we'll go to you. League MVP, starting with the AL.
We're in New Jersey, right? The best player in the MLB is from New Jersey. Mike Trout. I mean, there's not much. There's so many good things you can say about this guy. Batted .291, 137 hits, 45 home runs. That's a career high. 104 RBIs. And he showed off the speed a little bit. 11 stolen bases. He got hurt towards the end of the year, but I really don't think that's something that should really punish him. When I'm looking beyond stats, I look at Mike Trout. If you take him off the Angels, Angels are one of the worst teams in the league. And I'm looking at other guys across the league.
They already are.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm looking at other guys across the league that that are up for the MVP, that aren't even the best players on their own team. So for Mike Trout, for him to be the best player in the game and his numbers still improving, I think he had the best 2019 of everyone.
Mark?
As much as I hate to say this, it's got to be Bregman. Bregman is, he may not be the best player on his team. Yeah. It may be, it's hit or miss between him and Altuve, but just look at his stats. Guy almost hit 300, 164 hits. 41 home runs, 112 RBIs, and he had 35 more walks than Trout. Yeah. Obviously, he had more games, but Trout hasn't made the playoffs in how many years? So you kind of have to realize that you got to put that into consideration. They didn't give Bonds the MVP every single year, even though he deserved it. It has to be Bregman for me.
Let's shift over to the NL. Joe, who do you got?
Well, for the NL, I have to go with Cody Bellinger. You're going to look at his numbers here. I feel like I'm in an infomercial. So the batting average, 305, 47 home runs, the OBP over 400. That's elite. On top of that, elite base running. The guy runs the bases very well. And there's more. 3 positions he played this year. And on top of that, all elite level. And on top of that, the team he was on won 106 games this year. I don't know how you can make a case for anyone else.
Jimmy, make a case for someone else.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm about to talk about a guy who's more consistent than Cody Bellinger this year, and that's Christian Yelich. Now, Cody Bellinger had an amazing season and started off the year great, but really slowed down towards the end. Yelich was able to stay consistent. He batted .329, hit 44 home runs, 161 hits, a .429 OBP, and 97 RBIs. His season unfortunately got cut short due to injury, and the Brewers, I mean, they were amazing after he did. But imagine what those numbers would look like if he was able to play that entire September. He had an OPS of 1100. Christian Yelich, despite the injury, I think has been the best player in the league these past 2 years. And from this year, he didn't miss a step. I think he's your National League MVP.
Let's take it to the mound. Cy Young Award. Jimmy, who do you got in the AL?
I got to go with Gerrit Cole. I mean,
Pretty
you want
obvious.
to talk about a guy who's been as elite gets. Let me tell you some of his numbers. He went 20-5 this year. Now, I grant wins-loss is a little overrated. 20 wins is still a huge stat. A 2.5 ERA. 326 strikeouts, only 142 hits allowed, 29 home runs allowed, had a whip of .89 and pitched in 212 innings. That's almost as good as it gets. You really don't see those kind of numbers from guys anymore because of how much teams rely on their bullpen this year. But Gerrit Cole was someone who you could trust to go out there for 7 to 8 innings a game and just absolutely dominate all year long.
Joe?
I completely agree. Everything you said with Gerrit Cole was spot on. Great analysis. And on top of that, look at the parks that he's playing in. Minute Maid Park. I mean, that's hitters friendly right there.
Oh, yeah, especially
You
for
know,
righties.
Yeah, ballpark in Arlington. I know they Globe Life Park. They like to change the name. Hitter friendly as they come. I mean, T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Hitter friendly parks all over the AL West. In the AL with the DH, with the juiced ball, and the 326 strikeouts. I know strikeouts are up, but 326 is unheard of number at any point in history.
Let's go to the
Hopefully he'll be
NL.
in Yankee Stadium next year.
Hope
so,
We'll see.
Hope so.
Mark, what do you got in the NL?
It's Jacob deGrom. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, you put that guy in any other team besides the Mets. I mean, the guy's going to win 20-plus games. His stats don't really, if you look at his win-loss record, everyone can say, 11 wins, 8 losses. But you got to see the stuff that, the stats don't show. The guy doesn't get run support. No. Like I said, if you put him on the Yankees, the guy's winning 20-plus. Any team. The guy's winning 20-plus games. Yeah, 25, easy. I know people are not for back-to-back Cy Young Award winners, but this guy, I know he faces the Marlins a lot, but, just keep in mind, he's easily the best pitcher in baseball. Maybe minus one person, which Steve will probably bring up right now.
Yeah, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Just got his first World Series ring a couple nights ago. Max Scherzer. I mean, this guy, he does it all for them. 11-7 on the year. Obviously, Jimmy, you said record. We got to kind of take that hit or miss. 2.92 ERA, 243 strikeouts. The whip is pretty good. And then the innings pitched. He had a couple IL stints. But 243 strikeouts. He pitched almost 30 less innings than deGrom and only had 12 less strikeouts. The guy's a strikeout artist. He leads that Nationals starting pitching staff. And I know he had a little bit of a rough postseason, but I just see him as the top pitcher, I think, in the league, and definitely the most dominant. And you have to give him the NL Cy Young Award.
Yeah, well, the baseball season is unfortunately over, but we will see you guys.
It was a hell of a year. Hell of a year.
Absolutely. Well, that's all for this episode of WP Sports Desk. Join us next week for updates in the worlds of the NBA and NHL. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SportsDeskWP. Thank you, as always, to our crew and studio manager, Al Clarke. For all of us on the desk, I'm Dante Vocaturo. We'll see you next time.